Yeah. And
Now,
Aditya was saying that there will be some hands-on portion also that Janil will handle.
that's correct. We will be
Okay.
having some references there also. I'm just loading up the screen here, just a minute, so that I can make sure we get the right presentation. Okay, you're able to see my screen also, right?
Yes, yes, we can.
Okay, I'll just put it up there. Yeah, the audio is clear. You can hear me clearly.
Yes, audio is clear.
Perfect. Then we're all set. We'll wait for the.
Yeah, we can wait for say around 5 minutes till all the
Sure.
students join.
Yeah. Janil from Eon team would also be there, I believe. So
I can't see him as of now.
yeah, we are seeing some students logging in, so we'll give them some time.
Yeah. So maybe we can wait for around say 5 minutes or so.
Sure.
Because students have classes and like when they're switching from one class to another, might take them a couple of minutes.
Definitely, we can give them some time and we'll connect shortly. So in this context, I have just muted my camera and I'll be available. So
Sure,
once you're
sure.
ready, do let me know. Okay?
Definitely. Yeah.
Yeah. Dr. Pankaj, you let me know when we should get started. So
Yeah,
we'll be
we're still
starting.
2 minutes to 2. So
Oh, okay. So we are a
yeah.
bit early there. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, just to make sure
Sure.
that we don't start before time, so
Right.
that we don't miss out any of the part. I mean, students don't miss out your session. So maybe we
Thank
can
you.
wait for a couple of minutes past 2 also.
Yeah, I think maybe 2 minutes after 2 we can wait and then we can start at 2:02. Hi Pankaj, this is Shiva. Good afternoon.
Hi. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. I can't see you.
We have muted ourselves on the video there.
Okay.
Shiva, you're there? So this morning I heard that Tesla has decided to invest in India. So today's theme for our presentation as against the news is like more matching.
Right. No, and the way industry 4.0 is expanding into like all traditional industries. I mean, it's just amazing. I mean, it's exciting times to come.
Yeah, you're definitely right. EduTech and also Industry 4.0 is like the two sort of cornerstones which has come out of light from the pandemic era. So we should
Right.
be able to see a lot more happening. Today we'll take that as an interactive discussion with the participants also.
Definitely.
Janil sir is also here in the participants. Janil sir, आपको मैंने co-host बना लिया.
Thank you, Jitendra sir. Good afternoon, Pankaj sir.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon.
There we have Shiva also from the team in Bangalore.
Hi. Hello.
So the background of today's presentation, it's more of like focus on industry 4.0 and also like the opportunities that different trailblazer companies have worked in this field, sir. Dr. Pankaj?
Yes, yes.
And the participants whom we are looking at are from all over Rajasthan.
There are few from other colleges, but mostly our students and
Right.
faculty. And we actually have circulated it to all the colleges of Rajasthan.
Oh, okay.
But I think because there are many activities going on under TechWhip right now. Because Rajasthan Technical University has this TechWhip funding.
Oh,
And
okay.
under that funding, they are organizing a lot of online workshops. Actually, it was supposed to be offline workshops, but because of this COVID pandemic, they are doing it online.
Right.
And the funding
These are only
requirement-
for higher education technical universities?
Yeah, universities and affiliated colleges.
Affiliated colleges. Okay.
So, but because of this online platform, workshops are costing a lot less than what they would in physical mode.
You're right. That's also one of the advantages what we see of staying connected. The connection, the collaboration, and the communication. The three C's have made a huge impact after the pandemic.
Right. So we are having almost 4 times the normal number of workshops under TechWhip.
Wow.
So,
see that?
Whether you left out one more C, the cause of that, which is Corona.
Cost, yeah.
Okay. So after the presentation, then I'll have a lot more questions related to C's. And also the announcements on the edtech space also has opened up a new area of exploring like how the industry 4.0 solutions brings like better collaborative decision making, and that also propels like the creativity. Earlier it was more of like a process driven, but now it's more like in terms of like deep tech type of a engagements.
Right. So we have more than 70 participants already. So should we start or?
I think we should start. We have waited for 3 minutes.
Yeah. And then participants can keep joining. I think we can start.
Sure.
Yeah. Kunjpreet, you can start.
Yes, sir. So we welcome Sir Sridhar Sukan, sir, a highly motivated and successful business leader with over 20 years of experience in business development, sales, and new venture startups. He lived and worked in international markets in Europe, USA, and Asia with a track record of building and delivering successful products, profits, and market share growth with ownership of regional partner teams. Sir hold an extensive knowledge of interactive 3D markets, technology trends, and successful customer strategies, specialized in display product and solutions across industry vertical as education and aerospace. May I request Professor Sridhar sir to please take forward the section of AR/VR technologies for Industry 4.0. Please, sir.
Thank you, Kunjpreet. The opening introduction is very a warm one, and I really appreciate the opportunity here to present a bit of like what we have done in the Industry 4.0 sector. And also, this is all like hands-on in terms of how we have a challenge with the customer and how we are looking at solving the customer challenges through a set of solutions. So what in the process we have also achieved is we are looking at like bringing this to the universities, to the higher education campuses, where the focus is on job creation and also the improvement of the technical skills. That's where in my presentation, you see that as like one of the headliners there. Now, when we look at like how the engagement for Eon Reality has been, like in terms of focus, even though you can say that this is all coming into the information technology domain, but we are looking at like the process of learning, training, and performing. The biggest challenge in developed economies is the knowledge transfer. Means I can cite some examples as I go through the process, which we'll come back with. Now, how do we address a transformation? If we don't take the community along with us, the transformation can be not all that effective. For example, I will take not the political aspect of America, but the COVID issues and the challenges what America has faced, and also how the administration has been. There, the government was arm's length, so the community failed. But that is not how we have to look at, like, especially when we are bringing innovation to the communities. That is where, when we look at the innovation related to Industry 4.0, we have to address that in three different categories. One, the government has to be aligned. Second, the academic institution has to be aligned. Third, the enterprise also has to be aligned. So bringing the alignment of all three, where do we start with? We need like a very strong foundation, and only a good foundation would lead the students who would be the potential workforce members of the community to understand, assimilate, and take the productivity journey forward. Now, at Eon Reality, where we are a global leader, and myself have been working for Eon as the fourth employee since 1999. So in this time frame, I can say that we have gone in for like about 4 revolutions. Means the earlier revolution was on silicon graphics machines. Those of us who have understood that, that was a huge monstrous machine that was put in place for processing data and also bringing the visual graphics. Today, the sort of engagement has stepped down to like bringing the engagement on your mobile phones for micro learning operations. So when we look at like this sort of transformations, I'll be having some references as I go with. Now, let us dive into a bit of like the technologies that's available in the market and how we have sort of looked to overcome just in a technology player perspective, but add value as a solution partner. If you look at on one side below the sort of iceberg, you see a lot of technologies that has been in the market over the last 10, 20 years, but on the surface of the iceberg is the one which you are looking at, because that's where the value add is, that's where like the sort of real productivity and the transformation has to happen. Now, there has been a good amount of industry customers who I would say pioneers who have tried to explore the technology and see how that has affected their workflow, their productivity. And without mentioning the government partners, the presentation is not complete, because the government also plays a huge role by backing up the technology players by bringing in the engagement. Here, if you see EDB, that stands for Economic Development Board, and they have been one of the pioneers in spurring economy. And I had the fortune of relocating to Singapore from Chicago to drive the R&D mandate what we had for Eon Reality. And today in this process, we have been able to deliver about 5 intellectual properties adding value. So this is the sort of a marriage between the government engagements, private players, and also like how to spur innovation, which I really see as a huge value add. So what are the sort of references? Where are we going with? I'll deep dive into some of the proven values, but if you look at it, either it is cost saving or saving of time, which some of the references we have on the screen. Now, I can't bring the whole of experience to you on the online presentation, but I can run like a few reference videos which we have done, and also with the reference examples. Now, if you take the aerospace industry, what I'm seeing is in India, we are having a game plan of adding 100 new airports, 100 new airports, then where will we go for knowledge transfer? Where will we go for the competence that's needed? And who would be in a position to demonstrate? And how do we have the access to the runways? So all these are the questions which we cannot solve in one go. We have to work with partners. For example, in the specialized scale here, it is all like a manual process which we used to do unless we provided this from a proof of concept demo to an actual implementation. And how does the actual implementation work? Join me to see this short video which our team has been able to work with. So you will be able to see how we have been able to bring the presentation forward. And this was for a client by name SATS, whom we have worked with in the past. This is their control room scenario also. I have muted some of the sound where you can hear me out as you are seeing the video. So this is on site training, and this goes on like with multiple sort of engagement, and you are really practicing it before performing it on the real stuff in the open environments. So you see that like how the various parts of the pallets have been filled up, and where this technology plays a role for you is you don't have to be into the sort of a aircraft environment. You are able to practice it outside and then come into the environment. So this is a huge effort which our team has done, and this also helped us to win like a collaboration award. Now this is more of like a pre-flight check where you're looking at for suspicious objects and how to make sure like the flight is totally sanitized, and all this comes in like with some sort of a reference examples. So here again, like this, in reality, it used to take about like 60 to 90 minutes. But when the cabin crew, before they board the flight, when they have been having this sort of a checklist being performed on specific aircrafts, you see the value add, which is quite enormous, and saving of time is huge. Now, we have completed like 2 of the references. This is like more into the emergency training for the military aircraft. And here we engaged into the actual training scenarios itself. See, actually in a hangar, you can't go for more than 1:8. And also you have to have a trainer always controlled because of the security clearances involved. But if you do it in virtual environment, what it used to take half a day, almost like 4 hours of engagement, you're able to do that in less than 30 minutes. Those are the learning modules. Now, I'll move from the aerospace industry examples of the Industry 4.0 solutions to energy. Here, we had a huge challenge. You know, before Elon Musk became the wealthiest person, it was, can you guess who was the richest person before Elon Musk? It was Jeff Bezos of Amazon. So I'm not interested to go who is richer here, but if I put from the company side, ExxonMobil was the highest valued company on earth before Apple took over. But they had a challenge. Their challenge was, if you see the people here, nearly 40% of the workforce went into retirement. So you cannot translate from my brain to your brain, right? The knowledge is accumulated over a period of years, and that sort of muscle memory has to be there. But what they did was they commissioned us to develop this sort of solutions. And I'm coming back with an aircraft example because this is like a sort of a what if scenario, which we have done here in Response Trainer. But if you look at like the sort of amount of engagement, what we have with each of the verticals, whether it's in aerospace, or whether it is in the energy and oil and gas sector, you see a lot of value being done there. Now, we used to do earlier on a project basis, but that did not help us. Here, we were commissioned to do a complete ecosystem for the aerodrome. And if you see here, we have given some broken parts. You have been able to see the debris around, and this is on the runway and creating the scenario. All this has been built as a configurator. And touch wood, hope this sort of scenarios doesn't occur. But in case if there is a reality, what happened a few days back for the aircraft in Indonesia, there has to be a trained manpower who would be able to access the site and also respond in real time. And in Singapore, in Changi Airport, they have 6 fire stations, and they time it that at any of the 6 stations to object which is under casualty should be reached not more than 90 seconds. That's a huge sort of a challenge. But the challenge is not about the timing here. The challenge is about life and death, and that's what they want to make sure safety first, and they had to train their people. So this gives you a comprehensive overview, and this took a lot of efforts for us to build it, and it is nearly about 800 different assets. So the question comes in, sir, is this Industry 4.0 solution? When you look at like the technologies that's available, I can name a few: cloud-based, Internet of Things, VR, AR, then MR, XR. See, technology for technology's sake doesn't mean anything. You have to bring that into real-time context. You have to apply that to a problem and solve the problem. So what do we need? We need both the soft skills, the visual skills, and also the analytical skills. So I graduated as a mechanical engineer. When I studied, we were like more looking at like how we go to the labs and perform some of the assignments which we had. We never had this sort of technology 22 years back. But now, if you look at like the real-time physics, the dynamics, the projectile motion, and also the strength of materials, all the subjects like what we have studied, it plays a huge role. And when I engage in terms of formulating this sort of solutions along with our customer base, they see that like we bring a lot of value. So it's upskilling. Even now, when I understand like what is the new developments happening on the market, my biggest interest of the technology is how I'm able to bring that in association with a client and perform a pilot project. Is it too costly? Would be the next question. Now, I know some of you within Techno NGR have already learned and also got certified in terms of the XR platform. Well, I'm looking at this example, what we have done for GSK, they also had the same question. How costly is it? Because the engagement was with the UK office of GSK. The procurement happens out of like a facility in Bangalore, and we are based here in Singapore. So it is multimodal collaborative approach. But when they realize that the cost of one of the equipments is $300,000, which is almost like closer to about 1.5 to 2 crore rupees, as against like coming on board, like learning a schedule, and it costs like less than the cost of a pizza. You don't eat pizza for the whole month. One pizza cost is equal to access to this sort of tools for a whole month. Then they were able to understand the value, what we are able to bring in. So there is a huge amount of value add what we have done by providing these sort of solutions on XR platform. Now, we also had the requirement close up to home in Singapore. So here the story gets interesting. Singapore government had this vision called Smart Nations. What is Smart Nations? In some parts of India, if you look at like put CCTV, have the gantry, automate the toll, then we say we are a smart city. Yes, these are like definitely level 1 type of engagement. But when we go for level 4, that's where the role of virtual reality, augmented reality, and also the real applications comes into picture. And in this context, what we had done is, this was the traditional manuals which used to study, read, and understand. Here, if I ask for component 17, you would see the whole drawing, and if you are not having a good eyesight, you don't even bother to go, where is component number 17? But look at this. What a technician who is just a fresher out of his academic exploration, having a diploma, is able to do, and what his colleague is doing. They are superimposing the whole engagement, and you are able to see that in real time. So this is where the technology becomes a huge part of the enablement which we have been able to do. Now you are able to do this on a modular basis. You are able to work it out on like your own tablet, and then you are able to understand that in real time. Wow, when you are able to do all this, why don't you do it on actual equipment? Yes, that's correct. But for the actual component, like for example, here it's a Volvo engine D9B of the lubrication system which you are looking at. The assembly disassembly process here under a master technician is about 8 hours process. And you cannot be doing that just to learn subcomponent systems. Whereas like if you have a complete application in micro learning modules, you're able to bring that experience and you can learn to fail. The word failure is not bad because once, twice you fail, when you go into the real world, you have to succeed because their failure is not an option. I'm a mountain climber. I can't say I used to be. I am a mountain climber. Once you're a climber for life. The philosophy which you advocate is one misstep may be the lost step. So when we go for like actual equipment, safety is paramount importance. And these are like real life systems that goes about. So this is where we have to bring this level of engagement, this level of training. And there has been like a few other examples in terms of like the actual industrial setup itself, which we have worked with. But I'll come back from the client reference examples to share how we do it. So there is a platform. This is now being rebranded as XR. I still wanted to share the AVR as a reference because it stands for augmented virtual reality. XR is the new terminology that goes as like extended reality. So if you see the 6 components here, all the components are like more or less self-explanatory, but the key attention is the content library and also the brand. If you look at like going in for a complete solution on this, whatever that used to cost engagement, like let's say 4 times or 10 times, now you can do it at a fraction of the cost. And that is the value add which the industry partners love it. Now, how do we go ahead in terms of presenting this? These are like some visuals, I have it there. And this is how you can engage this on the micro learning or on your own devices. And then you'll be able to bring this whole learning experience on your devices, handheld devices. Sridhar sir, I like it, what you shared, but I still have to do my regular homework, my regular subject, and without which I would not be able to sort of come in. But can I understand this without studying books? I give you an example in real time, which I faced. It's not just to students of biology, but at medical school level, if you ask the question, where is pancreas as against like where is liver, some answers are wrong. So if you go for like, without having the domain knowledge, just becoming like an experiential learner, then you are not following the right steps. As we all go through a traditional learning system, which brings the foundation strong, you have to know your basics. Means you have to know what is like the subject matter, and also you have to know what is the sequential learning aspect. Then comes the experiential learning, then comes like the muscle memory, then comes the retention. So all this process, we have a fantastic sort of a dashboard, which upon your own experience, within a span of like 1 minute or 2 minutes, your teachers would be able to understand like where the challenges are in the learning modules. And also your course administrators would be able to help you in real time. And if certain modules are not easy to understand, it is complex, you are able to sort of bring the engagement in a collaborative fashion and learn from each other. So that's a huge part of the value add which we are bringing in. Sir, I'm now seeing you making a presentation on Zoom. How can we go about like bringing that in real time? Yes, I had requested Janil to do a real-time one, but knowing the size of the audience, I decided like not to do that today because I know that there is a lot of interest in terms of taking Q&A and also going deep dive. But for all of you who have the interest, we are doing a real-time presentation on the 26th, which is a Republic Day celebration in India. But please spare me about 1 hour of your evening on 26th. Janil would be sharing like the invitation. It is not just for you, but on a global basis, we are bringing the community together in launching this product. Then you'll be hearing the presentations, hands-on skills, and also the engagement with other users. And I'm expecting about 20 speakers during that profile time. And my founder, Dan Legisker, would also be there. So when Janil sends the invite later on, please register yourselves and spare an evening hour for us so that you can see the power of the platform. And for those of you who are interested to take it forward and also learn and get the certification, definitely we will be here to support you. So bringing your products to life is sort of the buzzword. On that note, I would like to stop here and open up for questions. And also for some of you, if you have like some comments or feedback, I'd be happy to listen. I see on the chat box, Janil has already prepared and shared the links, but I'll give it that in your personal time to go ahead on that. So Dr. Pankaj, would you like to facilitate the Q&A session?
Sir, I'm Jitendra Chavis. I have some question.
Sure, Jitendra, please go ahead.
Sir, we talked about that is mixed reality. There is an augmented reality, then there is a virtual reality. What does this mixed reality means? How we can use it?
Got it. See, when you are looking at like the context base now, especially where we are overlapping the real world, only augmenting your space or going into the virtual space doesn't work. You have to work in real space also. And when I take this example, augmenting the reality means you are able to sort of superimpose and get that. And there are devices now like where you have to take it on markerless AR, which is also available on XR platform. But in the context of mixed reality, you're not just looking at the field of view, because when you put on a headset, you are limited by the field of view. And when you're looking at like a AR marker or like a markerless one, you're superimposing that on a pre-existing area or a surface. But in mixed reality, you're able to also have the force feedback, the real-time physics, sort of the, when you put it across, you are able to get that. And now one good example is like when you are able to capture the things using devices like HoloLens in virtual spaces, then they want to see that sort of tactile motion along with the equipment itself. So this is where the mixed reality component comes into picture.
Okay, great. Thank you, sir.
Sure. Any further questions?
Sir, currently there are first year students right now in the participants list. So can you guide them, because they have just stepped in the engineering, this technology. So can you just guide them how this AR VR is going to help them or can make their future brighter in this aspect?
Got it. I'll take the example of Apple India. When Apple came to India, we had a challenge that Apple is a very costly device and they may not even have a market share. But Apple has not only consistently grown into not just the tier 1 cities, tier 2, tier 3, but also Apple had a huge profitability in year 2020. Yes, sir, there are other devices by why Apple and why like they're going in for Apple 12 Max and other things. See, the amount of innovation what we are looking at, and this is where the IT skill sets has transformed, so are the service companies. Now I'll be directly guiding to the year 1 students. So if you have a good knowledge on database, or if you are good in machine learning, or if you are good in analytics, that won't be the jobs which you will be getting after 3 or 4 years, because your potential employers like Tata Consulting Services, Infosys, Wipro are all moving very fast to digital transformation. The key buzzword which we are looking at is digital transformation, real-time, anytime, anywhere collaboration, and also artificial intelligence. Now, how does this all play a role with VR and AR? I'll give you an example. when big edtech companies got a lot of investments last year, the one thing that they are all missing is they are new to the real-time concept of virtual reality and augmented reality. When we are looking at this sort of a new wave that's been happening, which is more what we call it as experiential learning and also experiential micro learning, your skill set in understanding this whole ecosystem and also being ready not only will land you as good engineering graduates in with employers seeking your competence, but also it will open up a lot of ideas for you to be an entrepreneur. One such example is just on our platform itself. We found a eye specialist, a doctor, who brought in like 600 pages of textbook data into one app. The textbook costs about $450 US dollars. Even if you photocopy that in a Xerox machine, after 3 days, the print vanishes. That's the sort of a record which they have done. So what we are looking at, the engagement there was, they wanted to do that as a VR app. Today, for a fraction of the cost, for $28, most of the students in the medical school uses that as an app for them to learn about human eye. Now, why is this important? See, if it's just an ophthalmologist or a doctor, they would not have worried about like coming into this field. But fortunately for them, there were 2 trained people in the team who knew about VR. And I will not disclose the salary amount, but they both of them got a contract for 3 years to work with the lab full time and work on the app. And it's not just 2 people outside. First, they knew what is the framework. Then they hired resources. And just for developing one app, it took like almost 18 months because the domain knowledge was so strong, which they had to bring in. So this is the sort of a direction you have to look at building your career. And now when we look at like the opportunities which you are looking at into aerospace, which I explained, energy, oil and natural gas also, which you have got. And recently, like there's been a lot of interest looking into medical sciences. Because of the pandemic, I was made aware like now when we go for this vaccination drive from the 16th, nearly 90,000 vaccinators were trained. Can all the nurses be vaccinators? No, you are underusing their competence. Nurses has to be nurses, but if you need vaccinators and if you go like having a training skill set and building these sort of values. So anytime like when they want like a reference, you have that on the VR content and it's all available through a single platform. So that is the amount of scale we are looking at. And now when we look at like VR, AR, sir, or this like just the terminologies or this in isolation? No. As you study other subjects, you should have a knowledge to database. You should be also having a knowledge to the cloud computing. You should be understanding the machine learning language. But when you have to present that in real time, that's where the biggest difference is. Here it's not static. Here it's in real time, dynamic, and also context based.
Thank you, sir.
Sure. So I do have my colleagues here, and one of them is Janil, who happens to be the alma mater from Techno NGR. Janil, you want to share a few words to the students who are building aspirations about a career in this field and also your own journey?
Thank you, Sridhar, for this. Yes, I'm an alumni for Techno NGR, and my journey with AR and VR actually it started in my 4th year when I got the opportunity from Vyas sir to join Yon Reality for my internship, and there where I actually I explored AR and VR and all the technologies and equipments Yon had. I've done my 8 months of internship with Eon. There I actually found like, no, this is what the cutting edge technology is, and that's where actually we all have to go, because when we talk about Industry 4.0, and if I speak about from your perspective, we all go for mostly the coding jobs in Infosys, TCS, big brands. We always go for what we learn in like C, OOPS and all these things, but the major part we miss, it's like all this new technologies coming in the market, which we don't have in our syllabus, but still we can like opt these technologies. We can have some certifications, some intermediate courses, something like that, and we can start building our career on these technologies also. I know, like in our college, it's not like that you all are not aware of this, because we have AR VR labs also, machine learning labs also. So all the things are required to opt this technology. Still, it's like all provided from the college itself. Now it's up to you. You have to go for it. You have to ask it, and you have to start doing it. So that's where like you can start doing it, and you can actually explore your own opportunities for AR and VR and Industry 4.0. And also, like I know, like there are the most crowd is from the first year, but still, if you guys have any question you just want to ask to us, please go for it. If you don't want to unmute yourself, you can put your question in the chat box also.
So I just changed the presentation. Are you able to see my screen now?
Yes, sir, it's
Sridhar, we
visible.
can see that.
Yeah. So just introducing the company itself, we are a global company, and we have the executive leadership out of California in US, and I operate out of Singapore. And also we have India director Shiva here with us. I would like to give him the lead to share a few words. Shiva, over to you.
Thank you, Sridhar. Hello, all. As Janil was rightly mentioning, while I know that most of you guys are from the first year, what you learn in this engineering is not going to help you completely when you get out of the market. It is how you utilize what you have learned really matters. And technologies definitely come in hand, as what Janil was explaining. Any new technology which is coming definitely has its advantage, and you having learned a new technology will definitely help you get into the industry. When you get out of for your first job, you will always have the advantage of having an extra technological knowledge with you when you are there in the market.
Thanks, Shiva. Thanks for the introduction. I just have one more reference as a video for, I can't bring the whole engagement here. So I just want you to have an understanding of how the center looks like when it comes to the VR AR part of the journey. So let's go through this a bit. This is a typical lab which we also advocate within the Experience Center. So the message here was, if we teach today's students as we taught as of yesterday, we rob them of tomorrow. So we are not here to rob your future, we are here to guide your future. Guiding your future means we are a part of your journey, and embrace the platform, learn the skill, and we are not like into the mainstream of your sort of curriculum or syllabus. We are opening it up for you to learn how to create the content, how to understand the deployment, and also how to bring this whole transformation of experiential journey on Excel platform to the masses. Today, the familiar names in India may be Byju's or Vedantu, and very soon we will be seeing the Excel platform as one of the familiar platforms for higher education, especially skill-based experiential learning. So with this note, I would like to stop here, and do we still have time for one or two more questions?
Yes, Sridhar,
Yes, sir. There's
we
also a
already have
question.
one question.
Sure. I'm ready because I don't want to take the question time and just do the presentation. So the more the questions, it will be good for us to interact and also address it. Please.
Yeah, so Sridhar, we have a question in our chat box. It's a question from Ronak. If he wants to start his own company, is it possible to do so when there are already such giants exist, big giants exist?
See, it is like this. Apple doesn't sell directly, right? They sell through the Apple stores, right? And you have a franchise model for all the big players into the market. Now, Eon Reality, if you consider us as an MNC and a big player, we are not into coming in on the content development. We are a pure platform player. So we need partners who have the domain knowledge. I explained the ophthalmologist and the medical successful venture there. It's the same way. If partners like you has to engage, and you are not just like finding a niche, but you don't have to undergo all the failures what we did over the last 20 years, nor invest the capital what is needed to build a structure in your own way. You can hop on, work on our platform, and build your business. And this business is not just local, okay? Again, I would refer back to Shiva. Shiva, can you give us like a bit of the strength in the team India and how you are serving the international markets and which are your engagements currently?
Yeah, sure. Thanks, Sridhar. Within the India market, I think the team strength is almost around 13 to 14 of us, including me, it is 14. We started our local operations for the last 2.5 years now, less than 2.5 years. And we understood, first thing we did is we understood the platform, which is Eon XR. And today, as of today, as we are talking, we are doing the entire curriculum mapping, creation and curation of curriculum for higher education, as well as secondary education. We manage the entire license, support and creation for the global operations. We manage global support for entire Eon XR platform suite of services. And we also do the QC for, which is a quality control part for our development team activities. Additionally, we also address the reporting structure, the statistics and analysis for our global users.
So thank you, Shiva. To summarize, there is a lot more opportunities in terms of domain content, in terms of coming on the platform, and also developing your own content. See, the market is still not aware. What we need is we need more evangelists, we need more thought leaders, and we need more people who can communicate about the platform and the benefits, what it brings to the community. Okay, if there are any further questions.
If anybody is having a question, please drop your questions in the chat box, please, or you can unmute yourself. I think, sir, there are no questions right now.
Okay, let me take one or two names and just take their feedback. Rohit Taylor, you want to share something to the rest of your friends? Rohit Tyler. Yeah, he's muted. So let me try one more name. Asim Ali. Vinit Agrawal. Okay, I think they're all muted and we may need to give them more time for this Q&A type of a session. Okay, without taking names, I need someone from the audience who can share how they found this session so that all of us can hear your voice. I need a volunteer.
Ronak Jain, can you? Ronak, where is Ronak?
Yes, sir.
Yes, Ronak, share your thoughts about the session.
Sir, that it was a really nice session. and I find it really helpful. And thanks for answering my question. I got your point.
Excellent.
And
So, will you be interested to come in on the 26th to learn more?
yes, sir, sure.
Perfect. So, Janil, any closing words from your side?
Actually, I was still wondering, like, there must be few questions about like how they can go for their career in Industry 4.0. How can they can start using AR and VR, all those things. But no, no worries. Any which ways, as we already are partnered with Techno NGR, we'll be having few of the webinars in coming weeks and coming months. So definitely we can engage there. We can answer your questions, and also we can have some workshops, certification programs for you guys. So we'll catch up again later. Thank you all for this session today.
Excellent. So to wrap up, I will just share like where we had the Future of Education Summit at NTU. And this video brings you certain highlights. So I had kept it for the last. So you can listen to this video and then we will end the session. Okay, there we go. And this happened in Singapore. Okay, on that note, I would like to close the presentation. Thank you all. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Sridhar sir. Thank you, Channel sir, for the such a fruitful session, sir. And thank you to Shiva sir also. The Eon Reality and Techno NGR are having trainings on the regular basis. In just past few months, we had 2 trainings consecutively, and the Webber sir and Janil sir really helped us in making those 3D models and transferring them into the AR scenes. Students really learned very well from this. Students from first year are also having right now the training of 3ds Max, and it is being taught by me. So sooner or later we'll just see if we can have a training of that AR VR for first year students also, so that they will grasp this thing sooner or later. So I would like to thank you again, Eon Reality, Sridhar sir, and all for such a fruitful session. I think the student will get more benefit out of it. Thank you, sir. Thanks for your time.
Really a pleasure. Thank you all. And as we are starting 2021, happy Lori, happy New Year. We'll keep in touch. Take care. Bye-bye.
Thank you,
Okay,
Jitendra
thank you,
sir.
sir.
Thank you, Pankaj sir, Vyas sir, and the whole Techno team for giving us this opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.